Hey guys, so I'm going to film a live brush swatch video of the new Viseart Petit Pro Midsummer palette. And this is a brand new palette that I just got in the mail today, so I thought I would show it to you all. And it's been a little while since I've filmed one of these, so I hope this turns out okay. But as usual, I will be using a MAC 242 brush for the shimmer shades. And this is new. This is the rougher number 2 brush. So I used to use the old MAC 239, which is a natural hair brush. MAC has since made all of its brushes synthetic, so I like using a natural hair brush for matte shades. And the rougher number 2 brush, as you can see, is almost a perfect dupe of the MAC 239. So if you're interested in a replacement for the MAC 239, you haven't been able to find one, the rougher number 2 brush is a good option. And this I picked up in the concept store, which I will link to below. And last I checked, they had this brush in their concept store for half off. I think the only difference is instead of the silver ferrule, it has a matte black ferrule, which I think I actually prefer for brush swatching videos because it doesn't have that reflection. This is the number 4 cheek brush, by the way. So I did recently order the number 2 brush with the matte black ferrule just for brush swatch videos, so it's less reflective. And they also have come out with, I can't recall if this is a synthetic or natural hair brush, but Rougher is releasing the number 23 brush, I believe, which also has a similar shape to it. I think Mel Thompson here on YouTube is friends or familiar with the brand owners, and she specifically requested that they do a version of this brush. So they've come out with that. That was in the concept store over the weekend, I believe, and I ordered it. I think the concept store version is currently sold out, but if you are interested, again, in a replacement for the MAC 242 or you like rougher brushes, they have come out with a brush like this. So that's a long-winded way of saying these are the, make sure I get the right ones here, these are the brushes I will be using, as I do not currently have the newer version of the MAC 242 from Rougher. Okay, so I have those, and then also I will be using an eye primer. This one is from Lorac, Behind the Scenes Eye Primer. I use it because I have a lot of these and it's easy to apply a lot of it to my arm because it has this type of dispenser. And then between swatches, I have the Veramona Color Switch, and it's just one of these guys. Lots of different brands make these, so I will be using this to clean my brushes in between swatches. Okay, so I believe this retails for $30. It is an 8 shade palette, 8 grams of product, so about a gram a piece. So it's one of their little ones, and these are the shades. As you may be able to tell from the name, it has kind of a Midsummer Nights Dream theme to it. So they do have shade names on the back. They don't have actual shade names in the palette. So if you are interested in keeping track of this, I think you would have to, let me double check here. It might be on the back of the, nope, okay. So if you want to keep track of these shade names, I think you need to hold on to this box. But the shades are Eglatine, Cupidon, Puck, Midsummer, Faerie, Potion, Titania, and Changeling. And it looks like it has a 36-month shelf life, and it's made in the USA, if that is of interest to you. And I think that's it for the box. So this is the actual little palette. It's very small, as you can see. It's their standard size for this format. I like the color of the packaging. I like that they've started making different colors because it makes it a little bit easier to reach for the palette that you intend to go for if you have several of these in your collection. So it's this nice kind of wine burgundy color, which I really like. And then it has Midsummer in that same kind of Shakespearean font in this, I guess, antique gold foil, which I really like. And then again, the brand name, just for the sake of comparison. I have a few other palettes with this form factor, basically. I think I might have depotted a lot of them, which is an option. But this is the Petit Pro Apricotine, Petit Pro 4. So I think they've upgraded the packaging a little bit. I don't know if it's just because of this colorway that they did that gold foil, but it's a nice touch. This one just says Petit Pro and has the same kind of mechanism there. And this is the Paris Edit palette, which I think was the last one of this size they released. Okay, so this one you can see they have the gold and it has the name on it. The font is different, if it'll pick up there. So again, this is an 8-pan palette and this one is 12. So you can see with this one I actually cut the back of the box out so I can keep the shade name straight. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up. So it has this kind of pull tab, and again it gives you the weight and the names and everything of the palette. I think this says 07, so I guess maybe this is the 7th one they've released. And then when you get it, it has a plastic on the mirror, which you can pull off. It's very satisfying. And then I'll place this over to keep the mirror from reflecting. And then it has this little plastic over the shades. And I will pick up, so you can see here that some of these shades look like they're kind of popping out a little bit. I don't know if that's because the plastic casing is a little wonky or something, but just by way of example, you still want to be careful when you do this, but they are magnetic. So if you wanted to, you can see that, if you wanted to place these in a Z palette type magnetic palette, you can do that. I think when I swatch them, I might be able to push them in without damaging them. Okay, so those are the shades there. We have 5 mattes and 3 shimmery shades. So I think that's a good mix, I think. I like this palette for several reasons. One, it's more cool toned than we've seen in a lot of cases. I like the range of mattes here. As you can tell maybe from my skin tone, I'm quite fair, so I like a shade like this to put all over the lid. These are good crease shades for me. That one makes it a little bit interesting, I guess, in terms of the colors. And then this will probably be a really nice shimmer shade just all over the lid. I'm not quite sure what this one will look like. And then this one looks like it's a duochrome, so which would be appropriate because the shade is called Changeling. Alright, so let's get into it, shall we? Okay, like I said, I will do a finger swatch and then a brush swatch. And apply the primer. Give that just a second to dry down. Okay, so we'll do the finger swatches first. So this first shade, Eglatine, which I'm not gonna lie, part of the reason I purchased this palette is because it makes me think of I think the movie from the 70s called Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I think it was the 70s. Do you guys remember that?
Your first name, my dear.
Eglatine.
Eglatine. Eglatine. Eglatine. Oh, how you'll shine.
So you can see kind of what that did to the pan. So these are all matte shades, and the first 3 felt really nice and creamy. The 4th one, that pink shade, felt a little bit dry. Let's see. I'm trying to see on the description here. I'm not sure if it contains carmine or... Yeah, it does contain carmine, so this is not a vegan palette, if that is of concern to you. So let's go ahead. Oops. So shade 1, shade 2, 3, and 4. That actually kind of blends out pretty nicely. So I left a little bit of a gap there so I can apply the brush swatches. So again, the Refer number 2 brush, going into, it's not going to focus properly. So again, you can kind of see what kicks up in the pan, and looks a little bit lighter than the finger swatch for some reason. All right, number 2 is Cupidon. So some of these seem to have a slight, I guess all of them really have a slight sheen to them, I think. All right, and then finally for this top row is Midsummer. That one looks a little bit darker in the finger swatch. So that is the first row. Again, we did the finger swatch and then the brush swatch. So finger, 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 and then brush, 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 and brush. I meant to show you, last time I filmed one of these, I showed you wiping off the swatches with a micellar makeup wipe. Forgot to do that under the camera, but they all removed pretty cleanly. I wasn't worried about staining because it is a non-vegan red shade, I guess. Usually it's the vegan red shades that will cause staining. And of course I had a primer on and it wasn't on my arm that long. Okay, so that is the first row. Make sure my arm has dried from the micellar wipe, and then going in with some additional primer. Again, give that a second to set. Okay, so going into the second row here, we have Faerie. It's a really pretty, shimmery, almost glittery pink shade. Potion, which it looks like it's a matte with micro glitter. I don't know if that's the official description. That brown, that's the the fifth and final matte. And then finally, Changeling, which you can see is really pretty. I feel like Viseart doesn't do a lot of that type of formula. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think of the Viseart palettes I have, I don't recall a lot of duochromes. Okay, so again, doing the finger swatches. So this is Faerie, which, to be honest, I think has a little bit more like glitter and sparkle than would be my preference. There's that matte. And then I actually like that shade more than I thought I would. Something very unique, I think. Okay, so first going in with the MAC 242 brush and the Faerie shade, and this is a dry brush. I might try an additional wet swatch in a second. You can see you get, I think, most of the same sparkle, but the color doesn't seem quite as pink in this swatch as it does in this one. All right, so again, color switch. And I don't know if I showed you this. This is all you do. probably need to wash the actual sponge here, but do that later. All right, going into Potion. And I might, with these shimmer shades, actually it's time to go back into the matte. With these shades, I might turn my lighting down. So I have two kind of big LED lights at, I think they're set at 3500 is the temperature if you are into photography, and then I adjusted the white balance on the camera. So hopefully this is showing up accurately for you guys. There's the last matte. It's a little patchy maybe. Might have to spend a little bit more time blending that one. And then finally, this is the Changeling shade. And let's see how this one... Okay, so I think this is one that you will want to probably apply damp or with your finger. I'm going to spray my brush with Fix Plus and then just kind of dab off any excess. All right, so let's go back into that Changeling shade since we just were swatching it. If you're interested in the new Wayne Goss palette, just as an aside, I heard that he specifically instructs people not to use his palette wet, so I'm not sure what the reasoning is for that. Okay, so that might be the best we can do. I mean, they're all very pretty and reflective. I like this kind of more frosty sheen, more so than like micro glitter, but that is an option. So I sprayed my brush again, and I want to see what this Faerie shade does. Applied wet. So let's see. I'm not sure the primer made it this far up, to be honest. And then I think, so this one is wet. This one is the finger swatch, and this is the brush. And I think down here it was finger, brush, and then wet. So I'm going to try this one as well, even though I don't think it's the same type of formula where using some sort of Fix Plus or something is really going to make a huge difference. Alright, so again, this is the shade Potion. And even though I've been pushing on these, the pans still seem a little tilted. Alright, so this is the wet swatch. Pretty similar to the dry swatch, brush swatch, I would say. So again, that is the last row. And I just want to try to see if I can push down on these a little bit. I don't know if it's showing up, but they're kind of... I have a feeling the plastic underneath might just be a little... Oh, that one went down. Okay. I think that's a little bit better. Let's see. This matte shade Puck seems a little like it's sticking up. Okay. So if your palette comes with some of the pans not quite in all the way, I would recommend just gently pressing down with a brush. I suppose you could use your finger too, but I just felt like a brush would be a little bit safer. Okay, so this is how the palette looks after I've been swatching it for the first time. give you a close-up like that. And before I wipe off these swatches, all right, I'm going to turn my lights down to see if that has an effect. So like I said, I'm at 3,500K. This is what 50% is. That is 75. That is 100. That's without any lighting. That is 25. That's back at 50 where I was. Okay, so again, I'll just quickly show you what it looks like to remove. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick little swatch video. I guess my final thoughts, I really like the theming of the palette and the color story. Some of these shimmer shades just weren't my preferred type of formula. I haven't applied these mattes on the eye yet, so this brown, like I was having a little bit of difficulty blending that one out. That may perform beautifully on the eyes. So again, these are brush swatches and finger swatches, but ultimately it's how a shade performs on the eye that really matters. So I hope this gave you an idea of the colors. I know the swatches on websites can be a little misleading sometimes. So would I recommend this palette? I think for $30, so I paid less than that, I will say. I was able to get a pro discount at Viseart because when they updated their website, they basically posted something on Instagram that said if you wanted to become a pro member, all you had to do was email them. So I think that gave me 20% off, which was $24, give or take. And then I did actually purchase the Rosé palette with it because I had to get to, well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to get to free shipping at, I think, $50. So for $24, I feel pretty good about this. I don't know if I would recommend paying $30 for it. You can tell, I think it's a nice range of shades for someone who is more fair-skinned. If you have darker skin, I don't know if some of these mattes will make much of an impact on your lids. But I, again, like the theming, I like the names.
Eglantine, Eglantine.
And I'm happy to have it in my collection, especially this like Shakespearean font and everything that they went with. I think is really fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know down below, and I will talk to you soon.